Welcome to Fear It Goes, the podcast all about taking your fears with you and doing it anyway. I'm your host, Brandy Taylor. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Fear It Goes. I'm so excited to have you here for episode 7. Today we're talking about drowning on the surface. And if you're anything like me, you've experienced this before. You know those moments when you have put everything in front of what really matters in your life? It's being so busy that we don't take the time to really address or seek any within ourselves because we don't want to look inside ourselves. It's so easy to just get busy. God, the days of busy. I remember those days. Not that I'm not busy now. I'm crazy busy, but it's joyful busy. It's the first time in my life that I've ever been so excited and had unlimited energy to really do what I want to do because I am so passionate about moving this forward. Big difference from before when all I felt like was my life was just packed full of busy this, busy that. Let's fill our day so full that we don't even have time to think, let alone evolve. I remember those days when family life and work and balance. Oh yeah, and what was balance? What a hilarious concept that was, because I certainly didn't have any of that. I was seeking out balance, but there really is no such thing as balance. We tend to swing back and forth on the pendulum of focus. So back then, I would wake up in the morning, get the kids ready for school, get myself ready for work, rush around, get to work anywhere from an 8 to 12 hour day, sometimes 14, depending on the day, and then come home, get the kids ready, have dinner, depending on the day, have dinner, get their lunches ready, and do whatever other work had to be done to prep for the next day, and then do some work if I needed to, get the kids to bed. And then that was it. Exhaustion. Complete and utter breakdown exhaustion. And then go to bed, get up the next day, and rinse and repeat. What an existence. And guess what? We all get caught in the rat race at some point in our life. We just get so caught up in the busy that we're not experiencing the rest of life. We just get caught in the day-to-day. And how much meaning sits in your day-to-day? It depends what you're doing. But really, when you're caught in the surface of things, and that's your day-to-day, and you rinse and repeat, and you rinse and repeat, what are you gaining from your life? Because I can tell you, for my life, there was a heck of a lot missing, and a lot I wasn't doing. And it was more because all I kept doing was filling my time with things that didn't bring meaning, joy, happiness, and anything beyond just existing. What do we do for ourselves? You see, life is presenting for us, not to us. Life isn't happening to us. It's happening for us. We are here to learn. And my life kept presenting misery. So what did I need to learn? A lot. Seems I was a very slow learner in my life, and I needed to be hit over the head a few times. You see, we have events in life that show up. They're just events. They're not good. They're not bad. They're just events. And they're here to teach us. But I wasn't really willing to see them. So more and more and more piled on. And this is us drowning the slow death of the surface. If we are not willing to get underneath and really discover what it is that lights us up, what it is that allows us to go out in the world and do something that matters to us and that matters to others, whatever that is. Maybe for you, it's being an incredible coach and volunteering your time that way. Maybe for you, it's being an amazing parent. Maybe for you, it's starting a business that you know is going to help people. Maybe for you, it is being a public speaker. That's mine. Maybe for me, it's telling my story and allowing people the space to heal and really give them the community and the support they need so that they can heal. That's mine. I needed to offer these things and I wasn't. And I was stuck in so much. I was so stuck. So stuck on the surface. And until I actually really looked at what I was doing that was making me so unhappy. Because really, bottom line is we make choices. And our choices determine what our life looks like. And I kept making choices that made my life look miserable. Oh, wait, it was miserable. When we live on the surface, there are so many things we are not looking at. And this is actually kind of a heavy topic to be talking about at this stage. I didn't think I'd bring this in this early into the podcast, but honestly, I keep butting up against this. I literally had a conversation today with someone about this very topic and how this is affecting their life. So we're talking about their partner and them and the communication they have and what's been frustrating. This is so relevant. When we live on the surface, which means we're not going inward, everything is outward. Our world is all out beyond us, and we see nothing within. We only see what our five senses are picking up. We are limited in this state. We are limited in our solutions, and that's really not what any of us want. We want every possible available solution, idea, grand idea that's going to take us to a place we never thought possible. We want all those available to us. And the thing is, when we look inside, we get to see those things. When we only see our world for what we visualize outside ourselves, that's limited. We're limited to the five senses. And this is how that works. Think spectrum. Okay, if we just go with the spectrum of sound, we know that there are sound waves that we can't hear. We know that dogs can hear things we can't hear. So our ability to hear on the spectrum is only a sliver of what that spectrum is. What does this say about our five senses and what data we're drawing in? Then we factor in the RAS, which is your reticular activation system. This little beauty, sits at the top of your spinal cord, processing all the bits of data that are coming in through our five senses at once. It's determining what's important to us and weeding out the yes, this is important, and no, this isn't. Because really, we can't take in all this data and utilize it all. That's too much data. Our brains would explode. So as long as you understand that this is what's happening on a second-by-second basis for everything that you're drawing in, it gives you a much clearer understanding now of what you are limited to. So back to the problem. These two people are experiencing communication problems because they are stuck in very limited solutions. It's when we exist in the day-to-day that we're missing out on some of the greatest things life has to offer us. And the only way we get there is to go inward. And I know for some of you, that's pretty scary. You think, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get in touch with myself. Who is this myself? And some of us have become so out of touch with ourselves that we don't recognize us anymore. Or we feel shame, or we feel whatever it is that's attached to who we think we are. Living on the surface means we are not getting the richness out of our life and who we really are. These spectacular beings that have so much to offer this world. So back to our couple. They are struggling to find any solutions outside of, let's split up. I have to win. Oh, that's a good one. A lot of couples do this when they fight. I have to win. But really, arguments aren't meant to be about winning. They're meant to be about finding the solution that works for the two of you, finding the middle ground and what works. This is the place they sit in. Sadly, this is the place we often sit in, regardless of who we are or what this pertains to. Is it my job? Is it my kids? Is it my spouse or my partner? Where am I limited in the way that I'm seeing? So if I'm, again, looking outward and I'm perceiving things through my five senses, my choices are limited. But when I start looking inside, yep, that's me. I start looking inside and I start asking questions like, why is this so important to me? Why do I feel I have to dig my heels in? What is it that I actually want to achieve here? And my favorite question these days is, in the big scheme of things, when I look at the big picture of my life, does this really matter? What really matters to us? What drives us? What direction are we going? Are we floundering? And better yet, with the questions that we ask ourselves about the big scheme of things, does the house matter? Does the car matter? Do all of these little things matter? Do they feed me in a way that helps me or hurts me? Is it a temporary fix? Because now I'm looking at the deeper stuff. Does my house make me who I am? Does my car make me who I am? No. Are you enough to be you? Are you enough? You were always, let me repeat that one more time, always enough. You were always beautiful. You came here spectacular. You started off this life in a spectacular way, being whole. Life throws events at us, and then we start to perceive the rest of our lives through those past events as if this is us. It's not. We are who we create. We are the people. Yes, we have experiences and they give us wisdom, but draw from the experience what you need. If I take on shame from an experience, does that make me a better person? If I take on guilt from an experience, does that make me a better person? If I take on anger from an experience, does that make me a better person? And does that make me someone I want to go out in the world with and behave that way? Is that going to give me the life I want? See, living on the surface means we don't have to address any of these things. We just get to live the day-to-day. Life events will happen, things will come and go, and we'll be spectators hanging out on the side. Well, someone else is in the game, getting what they want, and we are not, and we're just going, this sucks. Why am I not getting ahead? Why am I not happy? Let's say I even have everything I could possibly want. I am killing it with work, but I'm making myself crazy, and I'm still unhappy. The happiness comes from within us, and it's through the adventure and the journey of discovering who we are underneath all of the experiences and all of those layers of the past that have now covered up who you really are. And when we live on the surface of life and we allow life to take us down the river and we're just there for the ride, we're not participating. I challenge you to get a better boat, to start digging inside and finding out who you are and what you really want in your life and what really matters to you and what really lights you up. Because I'm telling you, once you find what lights you up, oh my God, the busy doesn't matter. Because I can work a 14-hour day now, and most of the time, I'm joyful in my work. Every once in a while, I kind of go crazy because, you can only do that for so long before you feel a little crazy. But it is joyful work. I love doing what I do. I love bringing what I am now bringing to the world, the value I bring, because it's valuable and because it feeds me in all the most incredible ways, and it drives my life forward in the way that I can see myself for the rest of my life. Can you say the same? Are you at that point where what you're doing is just lighting you up from inside. And that's what you bring the world. Because if you are, oh my God, all the power to you. Get out there and shine bright, you beautiful soul. But if you're not, and this is not how you feel, you're missing out. You're a spectator in your own life because you're just living on the surface. What do you want your life to be? How do you want to see your life when you look back on it at the end? And you think, man, did I ever do some things? Did I ever make a difference? Did I ever leave a legacy? What an impact I made. I'm so grateful for this life I lived. Or are you going to look back and go, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd worked more hours? No. No. I wish I lived in a bigger house. Would that have mattered? No. I wish I drove this car. Maybe, because I really like driving, and sometimes driving a really nice car is fun. All jokes aside, though, does it really matter in the big scheme? And this is how I put things into perspective so often now. I ask these questions in the big scheme of my life. Does this moment matter? Does this fight matter? And if so, on what level? What needs to be accomplished here? How do we communicate that well? What's the most important thing is the relationship, and whether or not I want to maintain it, whether or not I love it. And then I ask myself about me and the big scope of my life and what that means. And am I going to be proud of this moment? Am I not going to be proud? And if I'm not proud, what did I learn? Because those are the moments that define us. Okay, so we do make mistakes. We're human. We're never going to be perfect. We're never going to be always aware of who we are and everything that we want in that moment. When we mess up and life gets messy, these are the moments that we have to really look at the lesson that's in it, because it's a gift. That lesson is a gift. Life gets messy for us. For us. Life is always presenting for us. It's magical. It is constantly giving us gifts. And if we decide to get a great boat and drive our life, we're going to start seeing this. The options that show up when we look deeper, when we go below the surface, and we start to see what's really available to us. Look for the gifts. Drive the boat. The boat will become very full of gifts. What is it in that lesson, in that moment when we're not so proud, when we're not so happy with our choice or our decision, or we're not so happy with a life event that's presented for us? What is it there that we get to take from this that will drive us forward in a better way, and that will take us to the destination at the end with pride, with joy, with grace, with honoring of ourselves and those around us? What is it in that moment? Then it doesn't matter if you weren't proud in that moment. You took what you needed, and there is something to be proud of, and there is something to celebrate. You didn't just sit on it and let life happen to you. Because life isn't about happening to you. It never was. It's always here to teach you. And you're on this grand journey to dig deeper within and live a full, rich, wonderful life. A life that's extraordinary. We're not here to be, well, it was okay. We're not here for that. No one is here to live a life that feels like you're settling or like it's just mediocre and that's the best there is. I will never forget that moment when my ex-husband and I had that discussion around, is this all there is? Is this all there is? No, of course not. Of course not. But we were so stuck in seeing only a few options. Dig deeper. I promise you, as much as it seems like a scary concept in the beginning, to really visit who you are this amazing being with infinite possibilities. You just got to tap them. So this is your challenge for the week. Do a little bit of deeper dives decide that you're going to get a little messy sometimes. You're going to get into that boat and you're going to drive it. And yeah, you might hit some rocks. It's okay. You're allowed to hit rocks. You're allowed to bump things. You're allowed to almost tip your boat over. That's life. But let me tell you, every time those moments happen, it's pretty amazing what you gain from those moments. It's pretty spectacular, the person you become because of those moments. Don't be afraid of them. Don't get so caught up in the busy of life, throwing things at you, that you don't really live it. Live your life with the things that matter. So the choices you make reflect what you live tomorrow. What choices are you going to make now that make your busy not feel busy at all? That make you feel joyful and full of grace and honor and absolute love. And know that your life is now on fire, because that's what you can have. Life on fire. Okay, and this leads very nicely into next week's guest. She is local and quite an incredible story. And I am so freaking excited to bring this to you. She has had the most incredible journey to healing. It will absolutely inspire you. And that's what we all need, is inspiration and community, and know that we're not on these journeys alone, and that there are other people out there that have made it through to the other side, and you can too. I promise you that. So until next week, go check out fearitgoes.com and see what we're up to. We got a lot of things happening, and honestly, it's bringing a lot of value. So sign up for our newsletter. If you are loving the podcast, please subscribe and leave some comments. We'd love to hear from you. Besides, I know you want to check out fearitgoes.com. Yes, that is fearitgoes.com. Yes, you got it right, fearitgoes.com. I know it's on your mind all the time. And you just love us. You want to stalk us. I know you do. Come check us out and see what we're all about. Until next week, my beautiful souls, thank you so much for listening, and have an absolutely extraordinary week.